Today we're being joined by Fremantle AFLW youngster Serena Gibbs. Serena, thanks for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
No worries, happy to have you on. Before we get into everything, congratulations making your Freo debut on Sunday against the Saints. Well done on that.
Thank you. I was actually shocked to find out that I was finally getting the call up for the Dockers. So I'm really excited to take the field on Sunday. And it's such a special round as well for the league, Indigenous round.
Yep.
And I'm also going to be lucky to be able to debut for two clubs in Indigenous round. So it's a special round for me personally as well.
That's very good. So tell us a bit about yourself, what type of position you play and who you model your game off.
I'm a key position player. I can go through the forward and back line, and if need be, a pinch hit throughout the ruck. There's no one in particular who I model my game off. It's probably bits and pieces of everybody, but I also try to play my own style. There's only one Serena Gibbs, and I'm the only person who can play that style. So that's more about what I do. But yeah, through a key position player through both the forward and back lines.
So you're 23. You played 6 games for Carlton. In 3 goals in that time, drafted all the way back in 2019, pick 44. How was the draft night for you? Did you have any inkling that Carlton were going to pick you up at that point? How were you feeling heading into the draft and right after it?
I was actually really nervous. So initially, I was playing VFLW at Hawthorn at the time after my season with Eastern Rangers in the previously known NAB League. My coach said, look, I'm not entirely sure if you'll get picked up, but we're wanting to have you next year again on our list so then we can grow and develop you further because we do see potential in you. Way back then in 2019. So I put my name in the draft and I was like, oh, look, the worst thing that clubs can say is like, no, I just don't get picked up. And that's so fine. I was like a fresh kid, just started playing footy that year, first year out of high school, life had completely changed. But yeah, I managed to put my name in, got that confidence up, and yeah, I was lucky enough for Carlton to call me out with pick 44, and I was working at the time, so I was actually had no idea, and my phone just kept blowing up, and I'm like, why are people calling me? What's going on? And it turns out everybody else in my life was watching the draft for me. So further again, my life changed overnight, just like that.
So obviously, starting at Carlton, you remember your debut game round 5 of 2021. How was that experience for you? How was the nerves that day as well?
That was a huge day. I remember it because it was obviously in the middle of all of our COVID seasons. We had to fly to Tassie that morning. So Saturday morning, got on a plane to Tasmania. Long wait from the flight arrival in Tassie to a late night game, and then flying home. So it was a huge day just initially. Adding the fact that it was my debut game, like the nerves couldn't have been higher, but thankfully I had a great team around me. Unfortunately, we didn't get the win, but the girls around me at that time were just making sure that I was settled and ready to, do what I do best, and that's play footy.
As you said, so you played in the VFL and then you had played for Carlton. How was that transition to move from Carlton to Perth, and how was that transition originally?
Oh, it was a scary one, like to take it back to the trade period. You wait in limbo for a little bit of time. I'm not sure where you'll end up or what you're going to do. And I just knew I was looking for a new place to call home. I was just, in my life overall, needed a fresh new start. And Fremantle had reached out and, just seemed like the right fit for me, and just waiting for the trade to go through was nerve-wracking, but I'm really glad and I'm stoked to be over here out in Perth and just living it up, really, because the weather is amazing.
And I'm sure the weather, considering you said your debut game was in Tassie, on Sunday in Perth, and I'm assuming it's going to be good conditions on Sunday. Much different experience to that time.
Yeah, so we had a 10-degree day in Tassie that day, and then 7 at night, so it was quite cold. We've got a 24 degrees and sunny out at Freo Oval, especially in Indigenous round. So it's going to be a great day for footy, great conditions, and it's just going to be nice to just be out there, just playing.
It's very true. Anyone coming over from Melbourne or anywhere else?
Yeah, so my partner lives with me here over in Perth. She made the move over, but my mum and 2 sisters will be coming over tomorrow, spending the weekend over in Perth to help celebrate my debut.
It's good. So we've seen. I'm sure everyone saw the video on the Freo page yesterday with the debut, with the announcement and how that was. How did you have any inkling it could have happened this week, or you weren't sure? And what happened?
I had a bit of an inkling. I got a surprise message from my coach, Lisa Webb, just letting me know that I've been training well and to keep it up. But that was an odd one from her, because usually I just get like long feedback ones, which is really awesome. But to get that, and I was like, something's got to be up. And then yesterday morning, Bob Murphy, a good friend of mine now at the club, he's just asking me how I was. But he's obviously got some information up his sleeve that I didn't know. And we were just in a team meeting, and it was a shock to hear my name called out.
How do you think the girls have gone so far this year? A bit of a mixed bag, but how do you think you can finish off the season? Because you've got some chances to win the next 3 games.
Yeah, so we haven't had the ideal season that we're after, but though, given a new coach coming in, new game plan, I think the girls have adapted well to that. As you said, we'd obviously like to have a few more wins under our belt, but we're still growing and developing. We're definitely not in any situation where we're too concerned about where we're headed. I think we're headed in a great direction, hence my move over to the club. But it's just, getting back to playing some good footy, trusting ourselves, even if you've got to strip it straight back to the basics at times, that's okay. We've just got to have that backing of ourselves, because I think it's just that initial confidence in ourselves to be able to connect. And I know we can do that. I've seen us connect well, especially in our Richmond game. It's just finding that consistency for us to do it week in and week out, but initially for those 4 quarters as well. And I think we're growing. And to how we finished off last week against Geelong, obviously the slow start didn't help us, and they pushed out a bit of a lead. But the way we finished the game is we're really impressed and proud of the way that we pulled through. And we're just going to hopefully, with our next 3 games, keep that strength and stride up. And of course, coming against St Kilda this weekend, who are on a winning streak of 4 games.
4 in a row, yeah.
We're ready for that challenge, and we trust what we've got in our coaches and all of our support staff. We're all there together as one team and one club as well. You're up this weekend.
Yeah. So how do you think the game against the Saints, what is some of the key weapons for the Saints that you think that you get to try and quality influence of to get the result you want?
Yeah, obviously Patricia Yosh has been an absolute gun since she first joined the AFL. And Jessie Wardlord up forward, someone new to their forward lines, obviously another key position player. She's really strong, premiership player with Brisbane. So just they've got a few key players for us to look at, but across the board, both teams, I think we match up quite well, and I think it'll be a strong contest, nice close game.
So obviously you're playing mainly up forward as key position. Serena Watson, similar name, not quite the same. You potentially match up on her. She's had a pretty good year, and another player that's gone from another club, from the Suns to the Saints, who's been pretty good in defence for the Saints.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And as you said, Serena's going to be an interesting matchup there. But I think we'll both be able to play some strong games against each other. Serena's obviously made that big move as well across the country. So it's going to be a great day for us. I think it'll be a great matchup, and let's just see who comes out on top.
Do you remember your first AFLW goal, and what was that like for you?
Yes, it was Geelong in 2021 as well. It was a surprise. We just had a great start to the game, and honestly, I was just supporting my teammate in Darcy Vesio at the time, and they were electric that day. And just was there in the right place at the right time, and then a quick release to the goal straight in front. Like, you couldn't have asked for anything better, really. It was almost set in stone, and I'm looking forward to hopefully adding a few more to that tally.
The Dockers. What do you think is the best goal you've ever kicked, whether that's in an AFLW game or scrimmage matches, anything, locally, anything? What do you think is the best goal you've ever kicked?
Oh, funnily enough, against the Dockers, the following week. It came off the back of just some hard forward defence from Nick Stevens that day. I remember it, a lovely tackle from Nick, and then a handball chain out. And again, I just happened to be in the right spot at the right time to receive a handball from Nat Plain, who both Nick and Nat will be coming up against some old teammates this weekend. And it was about 35 out, straight in front, long kick in. And it was really memorable because that day it was if we had to win, we're in the finals. If we didn't, well, unfortunately we missed out. But yeah, just that game, that day, like perfect conditions out at Icon Park. And the team got around me, like it was nothing better.
Very, very. It makes the moment even better when you see you win in that circumstance as well. What's the week to week like for an AFLW player?
Well, for myself, I almost work full time still. But we're lucky enough to come in at the club on a Thursday for our full day session. And then we'll have 2 other sessions earlier in the week, a recovery session, and then getting out on the track. So a main session, so 2 main trainings and a recovery. And then obviously in all of that, we will also be doing some of our own individual stuff. So I'm usually found at the club every day doing some sort of recovery. If not, I'm slowly getting used to the beaches over here at Perth.
What got you into playing footy, and what sparked the interest to then play in the VFL as well, and then progress from there?
Yeah, well, my interest in footy actually came, I guess, through high school. I had a really influential teacher in Danny Webb, and still a good friend of mine now today. Just say, hey, Serena, I know you're playing netball. Netball's your life. But we just need someone to play in our footy team. She's like, I know you can kick a footy. Like, just come on. And I said, oh, like, if you need to fill in, the classic, I'll be filled in a few games. And still stayed on that netball pathway. Got to the end of 2018, and I just wanted to take a break from netball. It was initially going to be a 3 to 6 month break, just to refresh and rewind, and then get back into it. That 3 months from the end of 2018 turned into what 4 years now at footy, and just seen an ad for Eastern Rangers in the NAB League on Facebook, and I was like, you know what, I'm just having this break for netball. I'll have a go at this footy thing. And as I said, that footy thing has turned into a 4-year career now for me, which I never expected. And I've had a great pathway all the way up here to Fremantle.
Very good. Danielle Ponter obviously kicked a terrific goal early in the season at Icon Park in the centre square. Do you think you or any other teammate would be able to replicate that, or who thinks they'd be able to replicate that?
Who thinks that they'll be able to replicate that? Gabby O'Sullivan, 100%. She's a funny character. I love her. Brings great energy. But if there's anyone in our team that can do that, it'll be Anya Tai. Just her ability to get boot to ball quickly and marking up in that forward half for us. It wouldn't surprise me if something like that comes her way shortly.
Favorite teammate of the club?
Oh, tricky one. A lot of favourites. I'd probably say my best friend at the club, though, Roxy Rue. She's an awesome teammate, lovely friend, and has taken me under her wing in Perth since I moved over. Though to add to that, I'd probably go back to Gabby O'Sullivan, Emma O'Driscoll, just great people around.
That's good. I've got a clip to show you. It's a goal. It's a goal from Stella Reid from Richmond. She hit a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to show you the clip and see if you can compare which one you think is better between her goal from the boundary with a bunch of players around it, or Danielle Ponter's goal. I'll show you the clip. Here it is, and I'll get your thoughts on it, because they're both pretty impressive, and I'm kind of torn of who to say is the better one, but here it is.
Hi. Oh, yes. Boom.
Wow, I actually hadn't seen it from an angle like that, so that's incredible.
Yeah.
Look, I'll probably go with Stella Reid. Danielle Ponter's was, I reckon, just the win that day's probably helped her a little bit. But Stella Reid definitely, like, from that pocket, like, that's almost impossible, really. Yeah. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's personally my personal favourite, probably because I filmed it. Just happened to be at the end I was on. But that, like you said, it's impressive, and you got the bounce as well. I mean, both have their lucks to it, but that bunch of plays around her, and just to kick it and hope, and then bounce over the Monconti and the other player in the goal square, makes it pretty damn impressive too.
100%.
But now, coaches pair. Is there a coaches pair to the club?
Oh, definitely. Ellie Runnels, of course. I think we've even released a video of it earlier this year.
Okay.
She's always up there in just being a bit of a pest to Webby, if anything, but they have some good banter. But then on top of that, again, Gabby O'Sullivan's probably a close second on that as well.
Would you rather goal or mark of the year?
Oh, that's a tough one. I reckon mark of the year. Mark of the year, yeah.
It's an interesting
Can't
one to
imagine
pick.
myself snapping too many crazy ones, given I'm a
Well,
keeper,
you play forward. Yeah.
Yeah, who really knows? But I reckon a mark of the year.
Toughest opponent you've ever faced in AFLW?
Oh, probably a really good friend of mine, last season in Taylor Harris. It's always difficult when you come up against friends, and then as
Yeah.
good of a friend Taylor is for me, um, definitely that. And especially for me, I was playing in the back line that night, matching up on her. So that was a new one for me that night. It was unexpected, but I think I did all right. I had a few goals kicked on me, but
Oh.
given I was a bit of a baby in that position and still learning and growing, like definitely Tay.
And it's Taylor Harris too.
Yeah, exactly.
The season length, obviously, it's 10 games this season. Next year, I think it's going to go to 12, if I'm correct in saying. I'm assuming you'd be one of many people that want a season to be much longer than what it is.
Oh yeah, of course. It's real difficult when you only get to play those 10 rounds. Though I came in the league when there was 7 rounds and still conferences, so there's been a lot of growth and development across. And like we can understand where the AFL stand on their reasoning behind it, but also like we need our fans to get around us. Like we want them to be able to come to our games and enjoy it. And in order for us to get those 12 games, we're really heavily reliant on them at the moment. We need to get our attendances up. But it's like not hidden or anything. Like it's straight there in the news right there. I believe the ABC have published a fair bit about it. We really need our fans to get behind us because we're doing some incredible work with our footy. We just need that support physically and present at the game. And there's nothing better than being at the AFLW on the weekend. The weather's supreme, especially over here in Perth, but even over in the east, it's getting better, especially up in Brisbane and Queensland. Like there's just a lot going for us, and we really need that support from our fans because we're doing as much as we possibly can out in the field. We just need that support from them as well. And I'm sure our game growth will go even further.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I've been to probably over 10 games this year in Melbourne or in Victoria and in one in Geelong. And yeah, the weather's been really good, as you said. I think there was only one game, was the most recent one I went to at Icon Park, Carlton Collingwood, and that was the end of that game. But yeah, the weather's been good. And it feels much different to obviously the men's when you're at the game. You feel more involved, I think, in the women's games compared to the men's one.
Yeah, we're a completely different product, and that's what we're marketing for, and that's what we want. We want to be a family-friendly environment. Bring your kids, especially where we are in Freo. It's right across from the Fremantle markets. Like you just hear some massive cheers, sirens, and like what's going on at the Oval. Just walk across the road to the AFLW, and there you go. It's perfect length for the families. Like you said, the environment and it's completely different feel for them compared to the men's game. And we want that. We want our fans to be involved. Like us as a club at Fremantle, we always any win we get at our home deck, we're seeing our song obviously out in the field, but then we come just next to our race. We're right there in the mix of it with our fans because we want them to be involved as well. Like I said earlier, we don't get anywhere without our fans.
That's exactly what you well said. I mean, I feel the same way too with the men's game. Like you'll see they might high five or whatnot, take a couple of photos, and then the majority of them just duck straight into the rooms where you girls and I've noticed it being in a lot of the games this year where they give you a good 5-10 minutes to have a chat to people, and as you said, it makes it feel more welcome to fans as well, not just to watch a game, but being interacting with the club they're going to support or whatever as well, which is really, really good. Who do you feel is the best player in the comp? And is it one of your teammates? Is it a certain teammate that's returning this week as well?
Potentially, yes. Kiara Bowers, Turbo, as we call her, just an absolute weapon on the field. So smart, intelligent. Definitely one of the best players in the league. Look, I'll be biased, but definitely Turbo. She's obviously coming back from a knee injury, but we're doing what's right for her. We want her to play for a long time. And if it's a few weeks off, well, then it's a few weeks off. Getting her fit and firing, ready to go. Then you can't go past Emily Bates, obviously, Ali Anderson, those Brisbane, ex-Brisbane players. They're obviously a really strong developmental club up there. And then you come back down to Melbourne, and then you got your previous winners as well, Bree Davey, and then Kate Hawes having a really great year as well out in Melbourne. And then obviously Mon Contu, he's up there with being favourite for the Best and Fairest award this year. So it's really great talent around the league. But I think it's going to be a tight race home for the best and fairest this year.
Yeah, I agree with you because I do my own vote system, like a Brownlow vote, if you will. I call it a Scoops AFLW medal. Just the first year of, and without giving names, because I know people are listening because I haven't obviously revealed it yet, but there's 3 rounds to go. There's probably about 10, 15 names still in actual contention, realistic contention, which just shows how many names there are, that could still win it.
Especially like that North Melbourne midfield.
Riddell and Garner, yeah.
Yeah, they're just elite all the way through, and they've got that connection. So I'm not surprised that you've got 10 to 15 names that are super close through there. But it'll be nice. It'll be a nice run home for the W season. See where that ends up.
Sure. Who would you say loves the limelight, the attention, the camera at Freo or your previous club, Carlton, or anywhere that play some other clubs that love that and just can't get enough of the camera?
Oh, I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but Gabby O'Sullivan. Mualalawifi as well loves a bit of a camera and a photo shoot. Both charismatic people as well, so I'm not surprised, and they definitely shine in front of those in front of the limelight, and I'm really honoured to be their friends. And they're just great people, so I'm not surprised.
What's the best individual game you feel that you've played in?
AFLW career, obviously, don't have too many to pull from there. I'd definitely say against Geelong. Not yet, but everyone's journeys are different. Yes, I'm on a list for my 5th season and I only played 6 games, but like for me, that's not a worry. I've got that experience on the training track and in the clubs, and I'm, as Fremantle have said to me, like, when you're ready, like, you'll get the call up and we know you'll be able to perform and do what I need to do. And so I trust that my footy journey will be the one that's, path for me. But my best individual game, I probably, most recently a scrimmage a couple of weeks ago in Adelaide. Nice and clean on the footy, great hands, good kick. It's just to be able to play footy freely. So I think my growth and development where I'm at is ideal for my position and what it requires. But then if we're going off, even when I first started playing footy, down at back at Hawthorn in the VFLW competition in Victoria, a game against the then Melbourne University. My ability to play my role up that day resulted in a couple of goals in my name, towards my name, and I was really proud of that output that day.
And like you said, you've played, no matter how many games you played in this game at the moment 6. You played 6 small games than many of other people that don't get that opportunity, which to get on the list is a perfect achievement. And then any more games is just an added bonus from there. So you're proud of that.
I completely agree.
Any outside of footy interests? Like go on.
Outside of footy interests, skateboarding. I love to skateboard. Though obviously in season I don't do that as much. I love a bit of hiking, but then also, like, I'm a diehard Harry Potter supporter and fan there. So, I'm slowly making my way through the books. I wasn't a big reader as I was growing up, but I've done a lot of the reading into the meaning of, what J.K. Rowling's world is and what she created. And it's been always there for me and through many difficulties in life. I'm even got a Harry Potter tattoo. And I'm just, it's just super close to my heart, that world, because it can just take you into a new place. And then, of course, my family and friends. And that's probably about it at the moment. I'm still trying to find out if I like the beach or not here. So I'll probably add the beach to that soon.
Yeah, a lot of people love adding that. I've noticed the people I've spoken to. Any favourite TV shows or movies? Or documentaries, anything?
Yeah. Obviously Harry Potter. I'm going through the Beckham series at the moment, and that's really interesting, and I'm learning so much about that Beckham family. I'm a sucker for sitcoms, so Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Schitt's Creek, The Big Bang Theory, Friends, anything like that. Perfect for me.
And Big Bang Theory, I love that show. It's a really good one. And it's one of those shows where I'll just watch it on repeat over and over again. Even whenever I finish the series, I'll just still go through old ones, go, oh, yeah, I know what's going to happen. I've seen all the bits and pieces and key moments in shows. I still go watch them back anyway, which I'm sure people like with some shows as well. AFLW Fantasy, do you play it?
No, I actually don't know too much about it, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Outside of playing, I try not to dive too much into like the news or anything like that, just to be able to make sure that I'm keeping a level head and having also my time away from footy because I think and that's
Yeah.
really important. And I value that.
Yeah.
So anytime I can step out of that footy brain, I'll take it by two hands just to be able to relax, and then when I'm ready, I'll take it back and jump straight back in.
It's totally fair. It's basically like you got a limit of money and you got to pick like 5 forwards, 5 defenders, 6 mids, and a ruckman. So anyway, who do you think would pick themselves in that type of competition? Who would just be like, no matter they're the best player, the worst player, someone that doesn't get a game, they're injured, they still pick themselves? Is it going to be the same answer as before?
Yep, Gabby O'Sullivan, 100%. And it wouldn't surprise me if she played it and picked herself, and she was named as captain as well. So, yeah.
Now, I think this is probably going to be the same answer. I'm going to assume since this is how the trend's going. But does anyone check their stats as soon as the game's over, whenever you get access to a phone or whatnot? Or even ask the coach and go, how many stats did how many goals did I kick and whatnot? Or stuff like that.
Surprisingly, Gabby's pretty chill with that. She just wants to get the game done, and still just process it herself. Generally, us forwards will, whip out the phone when we can to see, the touches or, what we had. But I'm actually across our board though, like there's no one who's straight up to the phone. We all still like to debrief together and still take some time away from the phones before we jump back on because we do value that connection together as well.
Yeah. If you could poach any player from any AFLW club or players, who would you like to poach? It can be for Freo or just in general who you would like to poach.
Oh, not too sure. Probably for a bit more of a charismatic view. I'd still love to see Mua, play with Mua again. She's awesome, and then just the way that she puts her body on the line for the footy is incredible. Look, probably not too many players, if I'm honest. I think that what we've got going over here, and I'm a bit of a footy nut, and just love Freo that much. Now, I'd probably just keep us how we are, and just trust what comes in and what comes out.
It's fair. Premiership tip.
I think North Melbourne will pull through this year. I know obviously Melbourne's been on their their hot streak. Obviously they took the loss to the Crows, but I think North Melbourne they've had their time. They're constantly pushing final series, playing consistent footy at the moment. So I'm going to go with North Melbourne at this stage.
That's okay. And I mean, they play Melbourne this week. So it'll be a real task to see where they're at against those other top sides around them and see how they'll go heading into finals. Just one last one, Serena, so I appreciate you coming on. Is there anyone at the club who does something that just ticks you? What's something that someone does at the club that you just can't stand?
Actually, there's nothing, if I'm honest. We're all pretty clean people. If anything, it's just great banter all throughout. So there's nothing anyone does that ticks me off. We're all respecting of each other's space and processes, and so nothing really too much.
Serena, I really appreciate you coming. All the best in your club debut for the Doggers against the Saints, and hopefully it's many more games for the Doggers for a long future for you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Nice. Thank you.